Becoming Such a Wife, Chapter 9, Part 2. Whether Christine's, Janelle's, or mine. Of course, this was easier when the kids were very small and their transgressions were fairly innocent. After all, I was the only mother home with anywhere between 4 and 9 kids, depending on the year. If I hadn't felt comfortable disciplining them, the house would have been utter chaos. Years ago, when we lived in northern Wyoming, when Janelle worked full-time, Christine and I were each working part-time. We adjusted our schedule so that one of us would be home with the kids at all times. This was a particularly good time for our family. We had discovered that it was best for the 3 of us wives to have our own home, so we all gained a bit more autonomy and freedom and could raise our children as we wished. While we all have the same basic goals and expectations for our children, we have a different way of handling our home life and structure. Having our own homes allowed us to interact with our own children comfortably and freely without having to worry about if another mom was questioning the way something was being handled. Christine and I had our homes on 2.5 acres out in the country, and Janelle had purchased a home in town about 15 minutes away. She brought her kids over to our house every day while she worked, so the kids were together all the time. They were one another's best friends. They were constantly building, playing, including in our yard. There was so much space to run and play. They created Kids Town, which consisted of old blankets, boards, and lumber, anything they could find to make stores, post offices, and houses. They spent many hours in Kids Town. Since Christine and I lived so close together, we could pop back and forth between our own houses with little effort. All the kids knew they were welcome in either home at any time. It was an unwritten rule that whichever mother was home with the kids could use her best judgment on discipline needed for individual situations. We were all very comfortable with this, but occasionally we disagreed. In one instance, I was at work and Leon needed to be disciplined, so Christine handled it. When I heard about it later, I was fine with the fact that Christine addressed the problem but disagreed with the way she punished them. I felt it was inappropriate and a little extreme. We discussed the issue, and while she might disagree with my opinions on discipline, she was very respectful of my feelings. Leon is 16 now, so discipline is somewhat of a thing in the past in my house. When the kids were younger and I had a more active role in their day-to-day parenting, I would choose a punishment to fit the situation. If a child hit another child with a toy, he didn't get to play with that toy anymore. If the child didn't clean up his or her room, he or she didn't get to play outside with the other kids until it was done. I never disciplined the kids if I didn't think they could understand how to correct their behavior. As the kids have gotten older, however, I've taken a backseat in affairs that don't concern my own child directly. I realize that my sister Rise and I have different ideas about what is a punishable offense and what isn't. I also realize that the other moms need the space and freedom to do their own thing in their own way. Of course, I can't always ignore when the kids do something wrong. As recently as the summer, I felt I had to step in, correct a situation that had gone on too long and needed to change. Ever since Robin joined the family, we've been dealing with the typical blended family scenario. Several of Christine and Janelle's kids hadn't been acting like they would accept Robin as a parent or accept her kids as their sibling. I understand that this is a problem many families phase. Yet, it is still difficult on the kids. Several of the adults began to notice that some of the younger teenage boys were picking on Robin's little girls. Now, this could have just been seen as Big Brother's typical treatment of little sisters. But I think if it's bothering the girls, it shouldn't be allowed to continue. It had gone on too long, and in my own opinion, nothing was being done to change it. And this situation was filmed on the show, and where she talks to the kids about it, it's caught on camera, and it's like not her best moment, and she knows that. On a camping trip, things became too aggressive for me to brush aside any longer. A few of the boys were picking on one of the little girls and making her cry. I had enough. I got after the kids, telling them that they better shape up their treating one another with more respect. I told them that Robin's kids are their siblings whether they like it or not. Yep. And they better start treating them like that. As I was speaking, I noticed that Janelle and Christine just stood there and didn't say anything to back me up. I felt betrayed by their lack of support. I felt strongly that the adults in the family must show a united front in the children so they know we are all in this together and will support one another's decisions. I think it's detrimental to let the kids think they can play one parent against another, but not all wives feel this way. In fact, later on, Christine told me she thought I was completely out of line for speaking my mind at the moment. My form of parenting is to take care of things immediately when the transgression is fresh in the children's minds so they can understand why they are being disciplined. Therefore, I jumped in when I did and talked to the kids about their behavior. Christine would have preferred to wait until later to talk to the kids individually. I'm sure there are pros and cons for each approach. This is just one of those times when we needed to remember to be patient and forgiving with each other. Deep down, we're all working toward the same goal, a happy, healthy, and orderly family. Obviously, as our children have grown up, one of the major questions in our household has to do with dating. When the kids were little, the adults always said they would be allowed to date at 16, but now this time has come for many of the kids. We parents have realized that things are not so black and white. We often don't agree with the children or with one another on what constitutes a date. Is it a group of kids going out, hanging out together? The two kids are hanging out one-on-one, or just when there's a romantic interest involved? I feel the same. I feel like some of our kids are mature enough to handle themselves on a date, whether they might take a few more liberties than I would prefer. We have to figure out a fair way to permit one child to do something another one cannot. Something that is difficult for any parent with children of any age. As far as dating goes, I stand by my opinion that the kids should be at least 16. I don't think dating is necessary any younger than that. It just sets them up for mistakes or heartbreak. Before 16, kids don't have the fortitude to deal with emotional and romantic situations. As far as kissing, I think young people should really hold off until they find someone very special at an older, much more mature age. Kissing can lead to things that teenagers shouldn't get into and definitely don't have the maturity to handle. I'm in a fortunate position with Leon when it comes to dating. While they have shown interest in young men and looks forward to dating in the future, they is committed to remaining in our faith and living our plural lifestyle. With this belief comes their commitment to remaining virtuous and chaste until marriage. They hold high expectations and standards for themselves concerning dating, kissing, and intimacy, and they have every intention of living up to them.